Hey guys, it's Elle. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a video chatting about my most read authors. So I got this idea from Jess from Penelope Books. She did this video a couple months back, and I thought it would be fun to kind of look at like statistics of like what authors have I read the most books from. So I kind of compiled a little bit of a list, and I'm going to chat about the author, but then also give a rec. So the first author I'm going to chat about is Lisa Kleypas. I have read, this is insane, 18 books by her. That is just absolutely insane to me, but I do really love her romances, especially her historical romances. So the book that I want to recommend is Worth Any Price by her. I recently listened to this one on audio, and it was fantastic. I think one of my favorite historicals of the year. It is a arranged marriage. The heroine, she has been on the run for 2 years, and the hero is sent out to go find her. He is a Bow Street runner, and once he finds her, he is supposed to bring her back to her fiance, and he ends up keeping her for himself, and they get married to protect her. And it is so fantastic. I love that romance so much. Very tortured hero, but it's such a good historical. So I kind of discovered Lisa Kleypas's romances in 2020, I think. That's when I really first started reading historicals after Bridgerton, but also I just felt like there was like a buzz in the air for historicals in early 2020. And that's when I really started reading them. And Lisa Kleypas was definitely one of the first authors that I had read like a historical from. I think my first book by her was, I'll put it up on the screen. I don't remember it, but it's like a second chance romance. It was amazing, so good. And I just think her historicals are just so classy and just really amazing, solid reads. Like I always enjoy her romances when I read them, and a lot of her audios for her romances are amazing. They are narrated by the same narrator that narrated the Bridgerton series. So I think it's Rosalind Landor. And I just love her romances. They're always so good. They're angsty. They bring so much passion and tension. And I just love her so much. The next author on this list is Penelope Douglas. I've read 18 books by her as well. The book I want to talk about is Birthday Girl. I absolutely love this romance from her. I first started reading her in late 2019. My first book that I read by her was Bully. Still a favorite to this day. I love that romance so much, like the perfect bully romance. And Birthday Girl, I feel like everyone knows this romance, but it was the first one that I read about a ex-boyfriend's dad romance, where it was a big age gap, and it was angsty but also slow burn. Like I love this romance so much. I really need to do a reread of it, but it was just like the first one that I'd read, and it was so good, and I just love so many of her romances. I feel like she writes romances in such a unique way. Like I just feel like there's so much meaning and purpose behind everything she writes in her romances that I just fall in love with her writing. She's just such a prolific writer. I enjoy her books so much. They bring me joy. I love that her books have mystery weaved in with her romances as well. Like they're just so intriguing, and I love them so much. So I am very proud to say that I've read 18 books by her. Then I have Elsie Silver. I have read 10 books by Elsie. I think I've read every single book that she's released except the first book in the Gold Rush Ranch series. I need to go back and read that. The book I want to talk about is Wild Eyes by her. This is her newest release, and I absolutely love this one. The heroine, she is visiting this small town in British Columbia, Canada, to kind of figure out her life. She is a famous country artist, and the hero from the first book, he is a music producer, and so she's going to write music with him and kind of figure out her life. She's actually facing a lot of like public scrutiny in the press, and she just is like feeling a lot of emotions at the moment, just really like kind of feeling like she's not worthy enough, and like her life's just kind of slipping by. and she meets the hero on a hilarious meet cute. She is so funny. She's like trying to take a video of a bear, and the hero, and she's a quintessential like city girl, and the hero is just like, what are you doing? This is so dangerous. Like, if this bear reacts, it's going to come after you and me. And so it was just not the best way to get off for their first meeting. But she ends up having to stay near him, like on the ranch, because he is brothers with the heroine from the first book. And so she is around him constantly on the ranch or like the property. And he has 2 kids. He is a single dad, divorced. And he's just absolutely adorable. I love how patient he is with the heroine. I just love Elsie Silver's heroes. They are just always so sweet and just like the perfect gentleman. And I just loved this romance so, so much. It's like fantastic. I just love like the character growth, the character development. The audiobooks for her books are amazing. She's just top tier romance for me. Like, I just love her books so, so much. The next author I want to talk about is Laura Pavlov. I've read 9 books by her. My favorite currently is Beating Heart. This is a single dad, neighbors, kind of frenemies to lovers romance. So the heroine, she is moving to the small town to become a new doctor at the local clinic, and the hero has a son, and his son has really bad asthma, and so he is constantly at the clinic trying to do treatments for asthma and trying to create a plan for his health. And so the heroine is like the new doctor, and the hero's like, absolutely not. Like, I don't want anyone new working on my son. Like, I don't trust you. I don't want you as his new doctor. He's very against her at first. It's because he has a lot of trust issues from his previous relationship. And it is just so good. Like, I just love seeing them kind of form a bond, because she's working really closely with him, obviously, to help his son. And his son is just like a ladies' man. Like, he's just so hilarious. And he has a nickname he loves, Beefcake. It's just so funny. And I just love like her relationship with his son, and it's just so adorable. And I love like the slow progression of the hero and heroine's relationship. This one is just so good. She writes small town romances just like the best. I just love her romances. They are amazing. Then I had to include Catherine Cowles on this list. I've read 18 books by Catherine, which is a lot, but I just love her romances so much. She just writes small town suspense romances, just like, oh, she's just amazing at it. She has perfected her craft. She is an amazing author, and I love her romances so, so much. The one I want to talk about is A Delicate Escape. This is her newest release. I absolutely adore this one. This is a forced proximity, small town, slow burn, best friend's brother romance. The heroine is on the run from her past, and she settles in the small town, Sparrow Falls, and she just doesn't really trust anyone. And she sees the hero, and he actually finds like a leak in her house, and he's like, I can fix that for you. And she's like, no, I can do it myself. It's because she is just really scared of letting anyone in her personal space, especially men. And he's like, we can take it slow, like you know, I'll just be here and working, like you can, you know, do whatever you feel works for you, makes you comfortable. And I just love how sweet and patient her heroes are. Oh, this one is so good. And so they have this like slow burn romance. It's amazing. It's so adorable. I just love Catherine's romances. She is just such a great writer. Oh, she's just amazing. And then I have Kennedy Ryan on this list. I've read 10 books by her. She is another favorite author. I just love her romances. I love how she writes such deeply emotional books, but with a lot of knowledge and research and facts to back up what she is discussing. She is just an incredible writer. I just love her romances so, so much. They are very near and dear to my heart. I just think she's one of the greatest romance authors that I've ever read. A book that I love is Grip. I love that trilogy. It is a second chance, angsty, friends to lovers romance. It deals with a lot of heavy topics, like police brutality, what it's like to be in an interracial relationship, and it just talks a lot about like white privilege and just some very heavy topics, but done it in a beautiful, very impactful way. And I love her romances. I always learn something from her books, and I just love her so much. She's just so good. The next author I have on this list is Lorraine Heath. I absolutely love Lorraine's romances. She is a historical romance author. I definitely want to delve into her historical fiction books, because I saw that Tori from A Novel Life, she recently read a historical fiction romance that she wrote, and it is, I think, set in World War II. And I am just very intrigued. I have never really read historical fiction, but I do have a couple of them on my TBR that I need to get to before the end of the year. But Lorraine Heath's romances are just so like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm at a loss for words, because her romances are just so angsty and they cut deep, and they're very emotional, some of them. And one of my favorites is The Notorious Lord Knightley. This is a second chance romance, but also hate to love, like friends to lovers to hate to love. It is a very emotional romance. So the hero and heroine were engaged, and on the day of their wedding, the hero called off the wedding, and the heroine was absolutely devastated. And now it is years later, and she is in society, and she's actually writing a series on the hero and like about him, and he knows that it's about him, but obviously she's writing under an anonymous pen name. And so he sees her again for the first time in years in society, and he starts hanging around her, and he's like, I still love you, but there's a reason I can't marry you. And just like, that's kind of where our story starts. And it is just such a great romance. It's slow burn, tension, angsty. She is just so mad at him and hates him, but also loves him, and it is just so good. Then I have Gianna Darling. I absolutely adore Gianna's romances. I read 11 books by her, I think almost her whole backlist, except her St. Clair trilogy, that one, but I've read almost every single book by her. She is just a beautiful writer. She writes very flowery romances, but that again are deep cuts. Like, they are gorgeous. I'm actually reading one right now, Asking for Trouble. It's a novella in the Fallen Men series. She writes, a variety of romances, like, but they're all a little bit darker. So like motorcycle, mafia, billionaire, very taboo, has lots of age gaps, which I love. I just love her writing. One that I want to chat about is her mafia duet. Absolutely amazing. That one is Forced Proximity. The heroine cannot stand the mafia, and the hero's in the mafia, and he's getting framed for a murder he didn't commit in New York, and she ends up being his lawyer. And he is put on house arrest, and she ends up having to stay with him. She just detests the mafia because of her past, like where she grew up in Italy. That was very prevalent, and they were not good people. So she kind of has this like stereotype for all people in the mafia, because she's just really scarred from her past. And it is just such a beautiful romance. I love this one. Gianna just writes just amazing books. I love her so, so much. Then the last author on this list is Krista and Becca Richie. I have read 9 books by her, just mainly from her Addicted series. I absolutely love the Addicted series, and I feel like she could just, she does this in the books, that this is why the series is so long. She could just write about like nothing really happening, and I will still read it. So this is a series that involves 3 couples, and the first book is a friends to lovers romance, fake dating, and they all revolve around this family, and it's just such a great series. I love this author. She is amazing. Just like very angsty romances, but with a lot of love and emotion in them, and I just love her. She is such a great writer. Alright, well that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing me chat about my most read authors. I love all of these authors, and I can't believe that I read so many books from their backlist. It's kind of insane. But I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I definitely want you to let me know down below what your most read authors are, or if we align on some of the authors that I mentioned. But I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.